Hi folks, as if this needs any introduction at all, let's just dive right into it. Apologies, my voice is still a bit hoarse, as you know I've had some medical issues recently, but let's go. I can't, I just can't, I'm sorry, this is such a serious topic. But when I got the notification that she'd uploaded, I was actually online at the time, so I watched it within like 10 minutes, and she was sat there, such serious face, and I thought, okay, she's gonna at least say something. She has to at this point, after a month of not replying to anybody, and like not addressing anything, she has to. And then she bent down and picked up a ukulele.
Hey, it's been a while since you saw my face.
No, we've been seeing your face everywhere on the internet. It's not been a while since we saw your face. It's been a while since you showed your face. Big difference.
I haven't been doing so great, so I took a little break.
You took a little break? You've been performing on stage this entire time. You actively haven't stopped working. You've stopped posting, but you didn't take a little break. You're still earning money by performing on stage.
So a lot of people are saying some things about me that aren't quite true.
And yet are backed up by messages and screenshots of you actively saying the things that apparently aren't true. I also quite like the not quite true. Like, there's a little bit of truth, but it's not quite true. Like, have you been ignoring the amount of screenshots and photographic evidence that's come out against you? Or were you just that narcissistic that you thought you could say what you wanted and no one would actually screen grab the horrible crap that you said?
Doesn't matter if it's true though, just as long as it's entertaining to you.
No, it's not entertaining. It's not entertaining. It's shocking. The amount of things that you have done. And it involves children. And animals, but we'll get back to that one. And you cannot think that we just find this entertaining and that we're enjoying the ride. You know, oh God, Shane Dawson, welcome to the circus. I mean, again, it's just pure blatant narcissism. People are talking about it because they're in absolute disbelief at what a horrible person you've been. I didn't even know who you were a couple of weeks ago. Honestly, the first time I was introduced to you was the Oversharing podcast via, Trisha Paytas, because obviously I do follow Trisha Paytas' career. I knew your face with red lipstick, and honestly, I just found you so chronically unfunny in the few seconds of you I'd seen. I didn't know who you were. So I'm not quite sure why you think this is a great entertainment value.
Right? You guys having fun?
Not especially, no.
All aboard the toxic gossip train.
Oh Lord, it's begun.
You're chugging down the tracks of misinformation.
Where were we misled? Was it the screenshots, the video recordings, the photographs, the multiple victim testimonies? Which bit were we misinformed about?
The toxic gossip train. You got a one-way ticket to manipulation station.
Oh, I do hope not. I get awfully travel sick on the train.
Toxic gossip train. Tie me to the tracks and harass me for my past.
Past implies that there's actually been an amount of time between the thing that you did and this beautiful ukulele rendition we're sitting through. When it's actually been found that the last group chat you left was the day before you uploaded this lovely ukulele song. And also, even before then, you actively engaged in takedown campaigns last year, the year before. So, harassing you for your past makes it sound like it's something you did when you were a teenager. No, you were still mid-30s.
These rumors look like facts if you don't mind the gap.
They look like facts because there's a heck of a lot of evidence backing them up, actually.
I won't survive in the crash, but hey.
Ah, the pity me started. I won't survive in the crash, so pity me.
At least you're having fun.
No, still not having fun, especially not listening to this song.
Hi everyone.
Hey.
I've been wanting to come online and talk to you about a few things.
Well, I don't believe that for a second.
Even though my team has strongly advised me to not say what I want to say.
Well, I wonder why.
I recently realized that they never said that I couldn't sing what I want to say. So, here I am, and today I only want to talk about the facts.
Oh, well, I think that's a fabulous idea. Are you going to get the PowerPoint out, or should we use our own computers to follow along with the evidence? How are we going to do this? Are you going to add screenshots, or you going to split screen the view, or what are we going to do? Do let us know, because we want to be informed of the facts and the facts only.
So I hope that you'll be willing to listen.
Yes, Colleen, definitely. Since the videos have come out, we're ready to listen. Let's hear it.
Here we go. Many years ago, I used to message my fans.
Oh, again, many years ago implies that there's been a significant amount of time elapsed. As we covered, you only left the day before this, so... well, that's a lie already, eh?
But not in a creepy way, like a lot of you are trying to suggest.
Is there a non-creepy way for someone in their early 30s to message 13, 14, 15-year-olds about periods, sexual conversations, discussing your ex-husband's penis versus the size of your current husband's penis? Is there a non-creepy way we can interpret that? Ah, screw it. Let's go deeper. You know I love a receipt on this channel.
I was 15, and Colleen, I wrote that I was having a Q&A, a YouTube Q&A, and Colleen Ballinger, the 31-year-old, comments and goes, Adam, you need questions for your Q&A? Are you a virgin? To a 14, 15-year-old. And then furthermore goes on and says, what's your favorite sexual position? What's your favorite position? This time, this was 2016, I think I was 14-ish. I write, my ass looks good today, y'all. Colleen comes into the chat, after not responding to anything else, and goes, pics, Adam, for me to send pics of my ass.
She sent like a random video of Eric one time. She sent a picture of her like pregnant on the bus or breastfeeding. I don't know, something weird on the bus.
Yeah, to validate your story, she used to send me Snapchats of her like breastfeeding and stuff as well, which is no problem, but it was just like there was never any like context and stuff. And I mean, she used to, whenever she was on that Hawaii trip, she would send me Snapchats of like Eric shirtless getting off of the pool or getting out of the pool, and she would caption it and be like, so sexy. And I mean, I was like 15 at this. What was the connotation of her talking to you about Josh? Was it very surface level, just saying that she was upset, or did she go into any more detail? This is kind of stuff I've talked about, but
it wasn't surface level. It was, yeah. I feel like a lot of like screenshots have circled around, and a few people have posted them, but a lot of in-depth about like he abused me and he emotionally abused me, and when would I have time to cheat, when he was yelling at me and screaming at me and slamming the door, and that's an abusive marriage and blah blah blah. Like,
there's been a conversation that has been happening right now where people have not been believing that Colleen Ballinger would be trauma dumping in the group chat. Can we confirm or deny what I have been saying? Because people do not believe that she would be doing it, considering the platform she had.
no, we definitely can confirm. Like, but that's what I guess we have screenshots of. Like, we definitely like were there for her throughout the divorce, especially like just during that. Well, because the group chat was created, I feel like specifically because haters was becoming so big, he added Colleen to be like, like, oh, don't get so famous and forget about us. Like, we were here for you, whatever. And that's obviously also when she was going through the divorce. So I feel like that's just like the main time she was trauma dumping. She definitely was talking so much about the divorce, very explicit stuff.
This is just a small taste of the kind of stuff she put in the group chats. There are videos going through it extensively. I highly recommend you do look at Adam McIntyre's videos, obviously his first-hand experience of dealing with her, and also he took the time to speak to other people who were affected, who did come out and speak about her, but had smaller platforms than he did, so he was able to share their story with them, and I think handled it very well and was very impartial in actually letting other people tell their story. I don't think there's any other way you can look at this as it not being creepy. You just cannot be that ridiculously stupid to think that this was appropriate and to think that you can speak to teenagers in that way.
It was more of a loser kind of way.
Oh no, both can be true at the same time. I think you were inappropriate and creepy and a loser at the same time.
Or I was just trying to be besties with everybody.
Why? That's so bizarre. I'm in my 30s, and no offence to 13, 14-year-olds, I don't want to be your bestie. If you want to talk to me and, you need some help, whatever, that's fine. But I don't want to be your bestie. I'm not going to trauma dump on some 13, 14, 15, etc. about my problems in my 30s. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I want to be besties with everybody. No, absolutely not. A stupid, stupid thing to say. What, you think it excuses any of your behaviour? Also, if you can hear digging in the background, my rabbit has absolutely no time for her bullshit either.
It's kind of like when you go to like a family gathering, and there's a weird aunt there who keeps coming up to you and going like, "Hey girl, what's the tea?" And you're like, ugh. That was me, but in group chats with my fans.
Okay, so we all know this aunt. We all have this aunt or some relative that does this to us. Just to defend that relative, I've had at least 3 relatives that have behaved like that, and I can only speak for myself, but they've never been like, "Hey, what's going on in your life? Who likes who fancies who?" or the rest of it. They've never then suddenly turned around and gone, "Oh my god, that's so cute. So anyway, my divorce is going like this, and apparently I've No, that trope doesn't fit this narrative, I'm afraid. It just simply doesn't. Oh God. Justice for those aunties.
It was weird. I've been sharing my life online for over 15 years.
And I'd managed to avoid you for so long.
I've poured my heart out to you, and because of that I feel like I'm talking to my friend.
No. Definitely not your friends. It's a one-way relationship. People who follow you know a massive amount about your life, especially with the amount you clearly overshare. And you know nothing about them. Maybe you recognise their handles, maybe you see them comment regularly across platforms. But no, this is parasocial, and you've actually managed to go the other way with it, which is almost impressive, actually.
But in the beginning of my career, I didn't really understand that maybe there should be some boundaries there.
There it is again, the attempt to minimise the time. Honestly, by this is a very purposeful thing to do. By saying, I've been online for 15 years, and then specifically saying, at the beginning of my career, I didn't realise that I should put some boundaries in place. What she's trying to do is to make someone who maybe doesn't understand the situation, or maybe who hasn't really been following the drama, to think, oh, well, if it was 15 years ago, because we all have made mistakes. We've all done things in our past. Oh my gosh, when I think about my life 15 years ago, I could curl up into a ball and have a little cry at my wreck of a teenage life. We've all been there. But this isn't 15 years ago. Again, for the 3rd time, she left a group chat the day before she uploaded this ukulele crap.
There were times in the DMs when I would overshare.
You call it oversharing, we consider it trauma dumping and deeply inappropriate behaviour with minors. Tomato.
Details of my life, which was really weird of me.
Again, weird makes it sound silly and quirky. It was scarring, actually, for these children. Actually scarring for them.
I haven't done that for years, you see.
I'm not going to say it for a 4th time. Even if you tried to say, well, yes, she left a group chat, the day before she did this video, but, she hasn't made any comments for years. Well, that's nonsense as well. Adam released his initial video in 2020 exposing her, which he had extreme backlash against him for. And also all the other evidence that have come out since in the last few weeks. We know that into 2021 she was trying to dig up dirt on Adam and basically wanted him taken out on the internet. She wanted him gone. So, you know, even if you're like, well, maybe that was the last time she behaved like this, which I highly doubt, that's still 2021. That's, you know, a year and a half to 2 years ago. That's not a huge amount of time.
Because I changed my behavior and I took accountability.
Where? When? And if you're referring to the video that you uploaded in 2020 when Adam first uploaded his expose video on you, people took it apart, although it was very well received at the time. Since all this has come out, people have gone over it again and have picked it apart and found so many inconsistencies and so many lies in it that you were forced to delete it off of YouTube. So you took accountability until it was fact-checked, and then miraculously the video disappeared.
But that's not very interesting, is it?
What, that you lied in your original taking accountability video? Or that you're now singing a ukulele as a sort of round 2 to it? Or the fact that you've had to delete it because so much of it was proven to be absolute crap? I find that quite interesting. I don't know about you, but I was fairly engaged in hearing about it.
So let's go on the toxic gossip train.
It's a chorus? Oh, heaven preserve us, it's a chorus.
The locomotive's fueled with hateful accusation.
Look, I've already told you I get travel sick on the train, and the hateful accusations that you call them have been proven fact. For goodness sake, can we wrap this up?
The toxic gossip train steamroll over someone's reputation.
Yeah.
Toxic gossip train.
Let me just lean to look at my notes. Seriously, look at that bit again. She did the and leant forward and clearly just looked at her script on the table in front of her.
Hop on board, but close your eyes, otherwise you'll realize that the train is made of lies, and that person you despise maybe didn't deserve to die, but hey.
Didn't deserve to die? Didn't deserve to die? It's a bit extreme. If you're referring to death threats, I don't agree with anyone receiving death threats, but part of me would say, if you've been online for 15 years, behaving like the absolute moron that you have been, is that the first round of death threats you've ever received? Really? Honestly, I'm not condoning death threats, but I'd be so surprised if she's never received them before. Ever.
At least you're having fun.
Still very much not having fun. How much longer is this bloody thing going to go on for?
In all seriousness, I do think it's really important to hold people accountable for their mistakes.
Is that why you started a podcast with Trisha Paytas, who hasn't acknowledged a single thing that they've done, and who myself and many other people on YouTube continually push that she hasn't addressed anything? Or is it for yourself? Because even on that podcast, you weren't terribly keen on hearing what people had to say about you either, were you?
To get it in real time, deleting comments about me. So someone writes, justice for Adam, okay?
Happen, we'll never do any episodes, and we'll never do it again.
Yeah, it took me a minute
Delete
to
it.
going on
Justice for
I
Adam.
was like, okay, is this like, am I gonna like get excited and then it's not gonna happen, or like you're not serious about it, and then I'm like like a stupid person, and I'm just like, oh my god, we started this, and you're like, no, I was just kidding, Trish, I wasn't being serious, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm so
no, yeah. So
delete it. Are you gonna apologize?
Illusions, but just
I have some crazy ones because it's like, so I'll watch a TV
delete
show and
it.
be like, and I'll literally
Grimmer,
say the whole new season.
delete it. Are we gonna address Adam? Delete it. Justice for Adam. Adam.
Oh, why am I not?
All deleted. Stop deleting comments. Justice for Adam. Justice for Adam. Delete it. Delete it. Justice for Adam. Delete it. Stop deleting comments.
Moses.
Justice for Adam. Delete it. What's your thoughts on Colleen's relationship with Adam? Delete it. Stop deleting. Justice for Adam. For Adam. Colleen, you're sick. Justice for Adam.
Gets into it.
So
should be so delusional.
it's the same on the comment section, right?
We should hope that everyone can learn from their mistakes and grow and change their behavior and be a better person. And this is something that I've always tried to do when I make mistakes, and it's something that I will continue to try to do. What? Oh, you don't care? Oh, okay.
There's the real Colleen. There's the real Colleen, passive aggressive. Oh, when I actually saw that moment, I did get that overwhelming feeling of, there she is. That's who she really is. Interestingly, she undercut herself because she was trying to, once again, re-establish that this was a long time ago, and, by saying, when that happens, I try and learn from my mistakes, and all the rest of it, and just try and keep going back to that same narrative that we've discussed throughout this video. But yeah, she completely undercut it because she couldn't help but let the real her and because she's angry. She is angry. She's affronted that this is happening to her. She doesn't feel like she deserves this. So it's really interesting that at this point in her video, and obviously it continues on as we'll see, it just seeps out of her.
I thought you wanted me to take accountability, but that's not the point of your mob mentality, is it? No. Your goal is to ruin the life of the person you despise while you dramatize your lies and monetize their demise.
You really get a sense of what's been going on behind the scenes with this little section. It gives you a good idea of what she's been saying to people behind the scenes about how she feels about the situation. She doesn't feel guilty. She doesn't feel remorse. That is how she feels. She can wrap it up in a sarcastic bundle. But that is truly how she feels. She's angry and affronted. And she feels like the victim, which is just really bizarre. How can you possibly consider yourself a victim at this point? How on earth can you consider yourself a victim? So yeah, I just think it's really interesting. It just clearly demonstrates that she feels like she's the wronged party in all of this, which just isn't the case. Also, I ain't making any money off this. I know there are some people who can on their channels, who have monetized channels and all the rest of it, but I am making loads of people I know who have uploaded videos on this have no income from YouTube. This isn't about income at all. And even the victims that are coming forward, there are so many stories that are being uploaded to places like TikTok, which is renowned for not being very successfully monetized. So that's what you console yourself by thinking, everyone's just making money. I'm not making any money from this. So many people aren't. How about you actually listen to what's being said around you and actually engage with the proof that's coming out, rather than just trying to console yourself with the idea that everyone's trying to make money off your name?
I feel like I can already hear the comments on this video. She's gaslighting, manipulating. Oh, she's a narcissist and a rat. I would never make a mistake like that.
Actually, no. I don't know what the comments are like now. But when I first watched it, I hung about in the comments while I had my lunch, just sort of flicking through and seeing people update it live. And not at all. There were people who were, saying the obvious, this ukulele apology is absolutely ridiculous, which it is. But there was not a small number of people who actually were saying, I'm a huge fan of yours. And, I've tried to be on your side throughout this, or I've tried to keep an open mind. But this apology video is just ridiculous. There was actually quite a high number of people. I don't know if they're still there, if she's been deleting, I don't know. You may just have to take my word for it on this one. But there was a high number of people in the first couple of hours that were on her side, but also acknowledged that this was a bad move to make. So I think that's quite interesting.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that all of you are perfect, so please criticize me.
I don't think you have to have a completely perfect past to recognise that what you've done is bizarre and inappropriate. To rely on that is just ridiculous. I mean, that's just childish. Also, when you say mistakes, you know, in your past and all the rest of it, and you can criticise me, there's also this, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but there's this implication that it was like a one-off. Like, I made a mistake, or this happened and I handled it badly. This was a long, years long history of bad behaviour in the public, with Miranda Singh's character, which we will touch on a little bit, but predominantly for this apology, in private. You cornered children in private for years. Yeah, I think we can criticise that, for sure.
Bring out the daggers made from your perfect past and stab me repeatedly in my bony little back.
Maybe I'm reaching here. Obviously, in this, she, as I said, she really gives off the feeling that she is the injured party. But I thought that was a really weird thing to say, bony little back. And it reminded me of Adam talking about her constantly body checking and going into group chats and also private messaging him and talking about body image. And I just thought that was a really strange thing to say in the song. And unnecessary. It's unnecessary for the rhyme. So yeah, I just wanted to add a little bit of context in that. Maybe I'm reaching a bit, but that stuck out to me as a bit of a strange thing to include. So if discussions about body checking or body image upset you, just jump forward a little bit. We'll get back to the song in just a moment.
I was on holiday with my family, and I would send a pic every day, or if I was at the beach or something like that. And one thing Colleen did was, she loves body checking. And one thing she used to do that has stuck with me to this day is she would always compliment parts of my body that were very skinny. And this is something that has lasted with me for my entire life. I know a lot of people struggle with their bodies. I know a lot of people struggle with eating, and I know a lot of people struggle with stuff like that. And so, to put into context, a lot of things that Colleen has talked about online have been body checking, and she talks often about, you know, body issues and stuff like that. I just want to let people know that a main reason that I have a lot of body issues is because my favorite person in the entire world was complimenting whenever my arms looked skinny, or my legs looked skinny, or something like that. And at that stage, my body was just developing, so you can imagine how many years I went through of trying to replicate, and even struggle with it to this day, of trying to replicate that same body of like a 15-year-old, which is impossible at a 20-year-old. And I've been seeing a lot of people coming into my DMs talking about how they felt uncomfortable with how Colleen, you know, if she would compliment their selfies or something like that as well. And I think the overarching point here is that no YouTuber should be that involved in someone's life.
I agree. That's just so sad to hear. And when you put it into context, it makes her attitude throughout this ukulele recital even more disgusting. That she's just absolutely oblivious to the things that she's done and the damage that she's caused, even when it's right in front of her, even when she's told about it. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And even if you do try and watch it and say, oh, well, it's not her responsibility to deal with fans' emotions, it is her responsibility not to trauma dump and have inappropriate sexual conversations with children. That is her responsibility. And she cannot try and play dumb and pretend that she doesn't understand that. It's just absolutely disgraceful. It's disgraceful behaviour. That's all I can say about it.
I'm sure you're disappointed in my shitty little song.
Obviously, yes.
I know you wanted me to say that I was 100% in the wrong.
You were, yes.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna take that route.
Shocker.
Of admitting to lies and rumors that you made up for clout.
Clout? What is this? Honestly, all these bloody influencers, when soon as they get accused of anything, they're like, oh, you're doing it for clout, you're doing it for clout. On what clout? What clout does anyone get? If you're talking about Adam, he had already amassed 200,000 followers on YouTube. Not talking about you. hadn't talked about you, like had gone on with his life and talked about many, many, many other subjects. Other people that have come forward to share their stories have not promoted their social medias, have not gained any significant following. In fact, 3 of them have actually deleted their social media. So who's getting the clout? It truly makes me so angry when people do that, because what kind of clout do they think they're getting? And you, as a viewer, if you're sat there thinking, well, you know, I think you're a little bit wrong, I think people do gain clout. Name 2 of James Charles' accusers. 1? What about the girl who accused Jake Paul? No? No one gains clout from any of this. And do you know what I find really ironic? Is that the only person that I actually recognised from any of this was Cody Rance. And I couldn't place them. I could not place them in my memory. And it wasn't until they did the interview with Petty Page where they said, oh, all the drama with James Charles. And I thought, what drama with James Charles? So I Googled it. And they were the consumer of the James Charles Artistry palette from Morphe, whose eyes got stained pink because they don't understand how vegan pigments work, even though it said it on the back of the blinking palette. And I just thought the irony in that was so great that I looked at them and I thought, there's something about the way they're talking that reminds me. So I actually recognised them because of the way they screeched into a camera. We're not going to go into the Cody Rant stuff in this video. Again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I implore you to look at Adam McIntyre's video. Basically, Cody Rant uploaded a video calling out Colleen Ballinger and mentioned Adam McIntyre in it. And it basically overturned the soil on this whole thing. Everyone had moved on with their lives. And although I think it was a good thing that Colleen is now being held accountable, I think it's all been handled very badly. It really has.
Hey everybody, I found someone new to harass.
Okay, so apparently we only ask for accountability as audience members when we're bored. We found someone new to harass. Okay. Not that everyone would stop commenting on it if you actually took accountability or addressed the crappy behaviour that you've done. But yeah, okay, sure.
She did some things that I do not like in her past.
This is winding me up something chronic. This constant narrative of trying to make it seem like it was years ago. It wasn't years ago. It wasn't years ago. How stupid do you think we are? It went on for years. Yes, it went on for years. But you're trying to minimise it by making it sound like it was years and years ago. We're not bloody stupid.
So everybody gather round, because we're about to attack.
Gather round? Don't know about that. I'm happy to stand with you folks if I'm in agreement with you, but like, no one come to my house, yeah?
But not based on facts, oh no.
Oh no. Just screenshots and videos and images and years of documentation backing up the allegations. So, you know, not based on the facts, no. Actual tangible proof. It's hilarious, isn't it?
Your loaded lethal weapon is your fingers on the keys. You don't need any armor when you can hide behind a screen. So shoot me down quick with a click and bam. My reputation's deceased.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it's pretty in the ground now. And it's your fault. You know, okay, people sit behind their computers and judge you and whatever, but your behaviour is your behaviour. You felt that Miranda Singh's skits to put online were funny and you uploaded them. Continued to be problematic for years. You went to theatres and pulled children out of the audience. Oh, don't worry, we're gonna circle back round to that one as well. And thought that was fine. We're actually still performing, and this week. So yeah, I think if your reputation is under a bed of flowers in the ground, I think that's completely your fault. Actually, not us.
take a minute to talk about that girl Miranda Sings.
Yeah, we probably should. I certainly wouldn't actually talk about her in the third person as if it wasn't you. That's not really helping your loser status there.
You know the one. Yeah, her. She's PG-13. It says that on my website, and it's always been that way. And that's why you won't find my videos on the YouTube Kids app. Anyway.
That's not true. You are available on the YouTube Kids app through collaborations, and your videos are actually available from the Miranda Sings channel. Also, Netflix have listed your program, Haters Back Off, as 12 and above. So, no, that's not true. And anyway, Miranda Sings is such a sexualized and don't know what you'd call it really. I'll go with controversial character. I'm not even really sure I'd want my 12-year-old or 13-year-old watching it, but there we go.
I didn't realize it was my responsibility to decide what was appropriate for every kid to see. I've always relied on parents to decide if they're comfortable with their families watching my YouTube videos or coming to my live shows.
It's a nice bit of passive aggression there for you, bit of condescension. Also, kids making their parents take them to live shows. I highly doubt that all the parents would know you, and I think a quick search of your video, just 5 minutes of watching a grown woman wearing red trousers, overdrawn lips and talking in the way you do, being silly, the parents probably watch it for a few seconds and are like, oh yeah, sure, we'll go see it, whatever. You know, I don't think they're really going to look into you that detailed. And because you do promote yourself in the way you do, to the unsuspecting viewer, you do look like a kid-friendly channel. Even Trisha Paytas has said it.
I'm just gonna say, I feel like you would hate Miranda Sings. Like, I feel like that is not your
I've never
jam.
got into the videos, but I always thought it was for kids. Like, I thought of it like a misery. I don't know.
Now, have I made some jokes in poor taste? Yes.
Okie dokie, let's have a look at some, shall we?
Hi, I'm Sam,
And I'm Labia.
and welcome to Arts and Crafts with Sam and Labia. Today we have a fun little craft for you. One of our favorite things to do at home is to write each other notes and put it in each other's mailboxes.
I like waking up in the middle of the night and finding something special in my box.
You should be my legs. Okay, so if I'm here, you spread them, and then now the baby will come out really good. Like, oh, the baby!
And of course, we can't forget the now infamous joke of your bae on stage.
I know how to little lady, James. I have a question for you, James. Now, since you are my summer bae, I was curious, would you like to go on a date with me right now on stage?
I would absolutely love to.
From what I understand, Colleen used to have these bits that were regular on her tours. In fact, they were so regular that some of the people who've spoken out have said that they dressed or behaved in a certain way to actually get her attention in the hope that she'd call them up on stage. So this is her bae set. So James was picked from the audience, pulled up on to the stage and encouraged to behave a certain way with her. Now, just to be clear, James was chosen because he was a young boy. She said that, PG-13, it's meant for adults, but there's actually receipts that Adam McIntyre has that shows that she was quite specific in choosing a young boy.
I say that someone in the fandom, Fern, was showing me a video of her doing the water challenge, where they drink water and the other person makes you laugh and you spit it on them during her show, and I was like, I would love to do it. Or she goes, want to do it? And I go, oh my god, sure. And she goes, you'll get soaking wet. And I go, I'm always wet. 15, by the way, I think I said this. She goes, true. Now, by the way, on the day of the show, I said to her, or she said to me, oh my god, one of my friends is going to do the water bit. It was like one of her friends. Was it? It wasn't Jonathan. I don't know who it was. It was one of her Ireland friends. And I was like, oh my god, I would have loved to do that. Can I do your bay section instead? And she said to me, no, you're way too old for that bit. Because that bit is where she brings a child on and basically like grooms them and they put their hands down her trousers and stuff like that. And it's really weird.
Yep, unfortunately we're getting to that bit. So she specifically sought out a younger child. I think that's important to hold on to. But it's PG-13. It's PG-13. It's for older people.
I love you, like...
James! I love you too. I've never had anyone so enthusiastic. Come on. Oh, I'm still wearing my horse. How embarrassing. Just let me slip this on.
I have loved this woman forever. I did everything I could to get to this show.
That's really sad to see. I mean, not only is it inappropriate because he's a child and the jokes that are going to quickly follow this, but also he's the butt of the joke. Although he's on stage having a good time, he is actually supposed to be the butt of the joke in this bit. And that's sad. And he just so desperately wanted to meet her. The other thing that's worth noting is that while he was chatting to the audience, because he has a fantastic stage presence, if he wanted to do theatre, I hope he did do it, he could definitely kept me engaged, was actually the joke that he accidentally talked over was her removing the horse that was tied around her waist. And she was like, oh, I've got it around my waist, sorry. And the joke was her bending down and wiggling her bum in his direction. So... yeah, I'm pleased he wasn't looking, actually.
I did everything to get here. Literally, I did. I'm so happy to be here.
It can't just be me that wants to give him a massive hug. Even though he's older now and, you know, and hopefully doesn't still follow Colleen Ballinger. But yeah, it was just so sweet.
Okay, so we're gonna go on a date together. Whoa, sorry.
Sorry.
First, we need to talk about how we're teaching everyone to go on a date at summer camp, okay? So this is what we're teaching them. So the first thing we have to learn is where to go at summer camp, the perfect place to go, okay? So the best place to go while you're at camp to go on a date is deep and dark into the woods where no one can see you or hear you. So, oh look, we're already here!
Don't encourage young children to go on dates while on summer camp deep, dark into the forest where no one can find you. I mean, firstly, that's just asking for them to get lost. And secondly, don't encourage children to go with random adults deep, dark into the forest where no one can find you.
This is like a dream to be here with you right now. Like, oh my gosh.
I agree, James. It's a dream come true to be in the middle of the woods where no one can hear us.
Don't double down on it. It wasn't funny the first time.
There are lots of bears in the woods who will eat your snacks, so you have to learn how to hide them. So I'm going to teach you to hide our snack from the bears. We have to hide it in our clothes. So for example, there we go. And so now, watch this. We're on the date, James. It's really romantic. Oh, we're getting close and personal. Oh, but I'm so hungry, James. Hold on, I got a snack. Do you want a cheese ball?
I'd love them. I can't believe I'm reaching in there right now.
I mean, I don't know about you. I find that a bit strange. I don't really find it funny. And it begs the question, who is this for? She markets herself, in image anyway, as a sort of bizarre kids' cartoon figure, and has amassed a following of children doing that, but with inappropriate jokes that adults wouldn't really find funny. And then, so who's it for? The kids don't understand it, the adults don't find it funny, who's it for? And the following that she's garnered from her vlog channel, which obviously goes much more into detail about her personal life, they don't really follow the Miranda Sings character. But you only retired the Amanda Sings character a month ago. So, yeah, who is this for?
Have I made lots of dumb mistakes? Yes. Am I sad that there are some fans who feel betrayed? Yes. But was my intention to manipulate? No.
So what was your intention? What was your intention? Okay, it wasn't to manipulate, but then what was it?
It doesn't really matter what my intention was, because it seems as though everyone's already decided.
No, I'm interested. I want to hear it. I want to know. I think most of us do.
On that, let me tell you, it's not very fun to have millions of people all over the world call you the most vile, horrendous, disgusting, life-ruining words that a person can be called, in my opinion. It doesn't matter that these things aren't true. Everyone just believes that you are the type of person who manipulates and abuses children.
Yes, that's not really up for debate. There's reams and reams of evidence to show that you have. Just because you don't think what you did counts as abuse, I mean, that's your problem. And if millions and millions of people are telling you that it is, maybe you should actually consider that that's what you've done.
So I just wanted to say that the only thing I've ever groomed is my 2 Persian cats.
Okay, so first let's have a look at the definition of grooming. Paige, can you take it away?
The Metropolitan Police define grooming as grooming is when a person builds a relationship with a child or younger person or a young adult who is at risk, so they abuse them and manipulate them into doing things. This doesn't necessarily mean anything criminal, more so just leveraging the power it is they have with the minor.
With that in mind, let's have a look at a few clips of testimonies from the victims.
I was 16 at the time. Like,
You were 16?
oh, that was like really weird, and like a lot of shit was kind of junked on us when we were young, and like whatever. But we can connect with each other now and realize that like that was weird. And it was our idol. We would never betray her. We wanted her to love us. We would not speak against her. But now like we're all grown up. We're all grown enough to realize like why the fuck were you saying that to us when we were so young? Because I would not, and not that I've been through a divorce or anything, but like even the small things I've been through, I would not be stupid enough to dump that on somebody younger than I am.
Yeah. Tell me more right now. He always goes off and lies about how I cheated when I literally never did. Well, he was dating tons of girls the entire time, so hypocrite. Also, T. Also, tell me more about the bakery stuff right now or I'm suing you. So the bakery was the Gossip Garden, and then they had a bakery version of it. It was basically gossip sites where Colleen would make me go and search for things. There you're literally seeing an example of where she's telling me to tell her everything that they're saying. This is what she used me for. She would love bomb me, make me feel like I had a friend, pretend to care about me, and I would just have to do all of her dirty work for her. Which is why a lot of people do not like me on the internet from this time period, because they associate me with my behavior at that time. Even though I was 14, 15, 16. She was making me do this. Then I open up to her about the bakery, and I go, oh, but I'm saying too much now. And she goes, no, you're not. You've said nothing. So try again. I just gave you boiling hot tea, and you gave me nothing. Come on, queen. So what I told her wasn't good enough, so she tells me, what the hell, I just gave you something really good. Give me more. And then I say about Josh apparently being on gossip sites, blah, 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 blah. But there's her being like, no, you're not. You've literally told me nothing. So sorry, full stop, try again.
This does actually demonstrate something that groomers do, which is share about their own lives. So, obviously we've been talking about her trauma dumping and giving away too much information to children. But that's actually quite a significant technique, which is offering up a piece of information in the hope of getting information back. And once that sort of back and forth of information happens, you've then got them in your grasp. You can then eventually encourage them or ask them to do things for you. Another way this can manifest itself with groomers is by actually trying to harvest embarrassing information, and actually holding on to embarrassing anecdotes or stories. There's potentially a good example of this that Adam goes through, where she asked the group chat, asked the girls what it was like to have their first period and offered up an embarrassing story about herself in the hope that she'd get some responses. I'll show you the clips now, but I cannot see any reason why she would have wanted that information.
Colleen writes to the girls in the group, "Tell me all your thoughts when you had your first periods. Please and thank you." Just randomly, of course. And then she goes, "Example, I thought I shit myself because the blood was so dark in my underwear." She would just come in randomly and say stuff like that to a lot of people who were very underage. There was one person that was younger than me in the group, and then we were all relatively the same age, right?
Why would you ask that? Why would you want to know? She seems to have this bizarre obsession with young girls' vaginas. I appreciate that's a very weird statement to make, but I do actually have clips to back this up.
There are leaks all over my house right now. Brand new house, by the way. And every time it rains, it leaks. Just like a teenage girl's vagina. I can't believe I'm gonna say this. It leaks so much like a little girl's creases when she watching me. Like a little girl's creases when she's watching those strange little boys on Musical.ly.
Oh, I see the head. Oh, I'm so pregnant. Oh, how are you doing, dear sister-in-law? I'm so excited for you to give birth to this baby. I love little girls. Oh, do you need a poo massage?
No, it's not a poo, it's a baby. Oh, I'm so pregnant. I just know it. I am.
Well, let's get you to the hospital. Run, get out the car. Oh, I'm the nurse. I've come to get this baby out from you. Just push from your tookie really hard. And breathe across, breathing like this. Oh, you smell fertile. If it smells fertile, that's what they say. Now push.
I appreciate that last clip was recorded from the audience and was a bit difficult to see and hear. She pulled a young girl out of the audience. I'm sure that she was chosen based on her age, much like the lad was for the Bay skit, given a script and had to say she was pregnant. And she told her to push the baby out of her tookie and then bent down, smelt the little girl's genitals and said, "You smell fertile." So, yeah. Another thing with regards to young girls' vaginas, Colleen seems to be obsessed. I'm just going to call her Colleen because although it's under the guise of Miranda Sings, she said this.
And there's a lot of times where in character I'll say something so cruel or, something I'm thinking but I would never actually say as myself. And it's very liberating to be able to say things that I'm thinking.
So you can't really go back on that now. But yes, anyway, she seems to be obsessed with having a negative opinion on tampons, suggesting that girls who use them are promiscuous and that you can only use them as a married woman because they go inside your vagina. And it's almost shaming, to be honest. It's just so strange.
Okay, so obviously yesterday was Christmas, and so I'm really ticked off about how in the past years my mom and my uncle have been giving me terrible presents. Are you serious? Is this the kind of junk? Do you know how disrespectful that is? I am saving myself for marriage. I can't be shoving things up there.
So, pretty much everyone wanted me to talk about the girl. This is really rude and gross, and I looked it up, and it's a girl who pretty much is eating her tampon that has already had her lady juice on it. Disgusting and really bad. So I didn't watch it. I'm not going to watch it. And I think it's disgusting because tampons are for sinners. You're not supposed to use them unless you've already been married. So it's the only reason. So hopefully she's married. If she's not, then all we can do is pray for her. So I think it's really gross. What you should be using is this. This is a pad. Nothing goes in, nothing goes out. You just put it in your panties and you let your lady juice flow on it.
I don't know about you, but I personally found that offensive. I just found the statement offensive regardless. And not only that, she's fully aware of the audience that she has. And periods are hard enough to navigate as a young girl. The last thing you need is someone that you come home and relax to watching, or someone you deem an idol telling you that you're going to hell because you've decided to try Tampax. And with that in mind, it makes the messages you put in the group chat about their first periods even stranger. Why do you want to know? Why do you have this opinion about tampons? And even if you don't have that opinion, why do you think it's funny and why do you think it's worth promoting? And it makes it even stranger that when a girl in the group chat asked for help about her first period, this is how Colleen responded.
I swear I'm not high.
This became so much of a meme, so much of an inside joke, if you will, that so many Colleen Ballinger fans would show up to the meet and greets with tampons in their mouths. They were bringing tampons to insert in themselves at the show.
Truly bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. I do believe that she groomed these kids based on the definition. I think there's a misconception that grooming implies sexual contact with children. I don't believe she had sexual contact with children. I don't believe that she ever wanted to. I think she wanted a little army of minions, which she managed for a long time. And there are still some that are very much in that category. Minimising it by making a joke about your cats is not the way forward. But while we're on the subject of her cats, I found this part quite difficult. A few clips have come to my attention regarding her treatment of her animals. I don't agree with it. I'm going to include some here. If you don't want to see that, jump forward. I just want to give you fair warning. It's not Shane Dawson level, which was truly disturbing. And I saw it once on the D'Angelo Wallace video and could never see it again. But it isn't pleasant. There's one clip that has seemed to have been scrubbed from the internet where she put her Persian cat in a paper bag and shook it, and said that, you know, if he wanted to survive or she wanted to survive, then they'd have to rip the way out the bag. 3 different exposed videos on her have either cut it or, in Paige's case, blurred it, and Paige said it's been taken down for copyright. So I'm not going to include that one. But as she was so desperate to hide that one, I did want to include other clips that illustrate what I think is unfair treatment of her animals.
First things first, grab the animal and then you tell it what it's supposed to do. Stomp, 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 stomp. Listen, cat, you don't like it? That's too bad. Ow! Do not scratch me. I promise you, it will be the end of your day. Stop, cat. I have to live with that. So if any of you want a cat, maybe I can mail it to you. It's still small, so it'll probably all fit in an envelope. Let's try. Cat, stay in it. Stop. No! Find a bigger envelope and I'll do it. I'll send it later.
Sit on it like this.
Stop! Is the snake in a can. I used to play with these when I was a little girl. I didn't even know they still existed. They're super lame, just something just pops out of it. So we'll see if it scares the cats or if they like it, what they do. They're interested. Oh no! Oh no! So that's your booty.
That was traumatizing, wasn't it? So sad. Look how mad she is. You okay, baby? She did not like that. It was very traumatizing.
This next clip really upset me. I have seen the unedited version. I'm not going to put that in here. All I can say is that it's fairly graphic. Why she thought she could put this online, and it's still on her channel now, so you can still go over and see it if you like. Essentially, while she was staying in New York, someone had asked her if they'd seen their cat, and they were out all night looking for their cat. In the morning, Colleen actually found the cat. Sadly, it had been run over by a car. And rather than having any sort of human decency or compassion, letting the owner know, and even just being sad that the poor cat had died, she thought the best thing to do was vlog it, and said this.
It's the day of the show, y'all, and look what we just found.
We found Ada! Look,
really
there are paws.
There are paws. That really might be Ada.
No. That actually, I think, is Ada. I was
Is it
just kidding,
tail?
but there's definitely paws. That's a paw. Ew, and that's a separated leg. And a fly. Ada.
Ada.
Bitch is dead.
Ada's dead.
Ada's dead.
The whole time we're searching for this cat named Ada. We just found her.
Search is over.
Search is over. She's dead.
I just can't. Absolutely disgusting, childish, cruel behaviour that was. Firstly, you can feel the compassion pouring out of her. I don't think, as my granny would say. And secondly, as a pet owner, I mean, she's not very nice to her own blinking pets, but as a pet owner myself, can you imagine seeing images of your poor animal like that online, millions of views? I cannot. And then she just went to the gig. She just went and did her sound check. Didn't say anything. It's heartbreaking. Honestly, I'm not ashamed to say that I had a bit of a cry. I really did at the image of that poor little cat. If I didn't despise her before, I do now.
I'm not a groomer. I'm just a loser.
You're more than that, believe me. You are more than that.
Who didn't understand I shouldn't respond to fans.
You actively messaged them. It wasn't just a case of responding. Yes, these kids might have added you to group chats, but you actively messaged them.
And I'm not a predator, even though a lot of you think so, because 5 years ago I made a fart joke.
Wow, we're really going to call that a fart joke? Seriously? Okay. What she's referring to is the yoga bit from her tour. Now, from what I understand, the yoga bit is when she pulls someone out of the crowd and makes them do yoga poses with her. And she actually pulled a fan out of the crowd that had dressed for her porn skit, which is another bizarre one. I'll just show you that here.
This is porn. This is porn. This is porn. This is porn. This is porn.
So essentially what she would do is pull out two girls from the audience, one that was dressed like her in the red trousers, if they're wearing her merch even better, I'd imagine, and another girl that was scantily clad, or, you know, in short shorts or a summer dress, you know, whatever, and she would compare them and say that the one who was in a summer dress or short shorts was porn. The incident she's referring to in her song is when a fan of hers wore a short summer dress in the hope to be called up on stage for the porn skit, because people will try and make themselves noticeable if they know that they can in the audience, and she was actually pulled out of the audience for the yoga skit. Now, part of the yoga skit is to put her in a compromising position and then play a fart noise. Miranda acts disgusted and everybody laughs, but with the girl wearing such a short dress, it's uncomfortable.
Hi, okay, my name is Becky. I'm the girl in this video, and this video has over 1 million views, and that is a lot of people to be seeing this story without hearing it from me, so I want to explain this. So I was a fan of Colleen and all the Ballinger family for a very, very long time, and I think in this video I was about 16. If you've never been to a Miranda show, Colleen frequently has segments where she calls people up on stage. One of those segments was the porn bit, which I'm not really going to be explaining in this video, but that's why I was kind of trying to dress skimpy so that I would be called up on stage and basically get degraded by Miranda. But I did not get called up for that. I got called up for the yoga challenge. Now, as soon as I stood up from the audience, I saw Colleen's eyes widen because she realized I was not wearing pants. But for some reason, that didn't stop her from continuing. In fact, no adult at any point stepped in this situation. So we get to the point in the yoga challenge where I am laying down and Colleen is spreading my legs basically as far as she can. She spreads them so far that you can see the spandex I was wearing under my romper, which thank God I was wearing. Now, the original video posted by Xandar, I'm sorry if I pronounced her name wrong, is only a screenshot, but there is a whole video of this. But that screenshot is the most important because that is the moment I will never forget, where I was laying under Colleen and she was smirking down at me while thousands of people were laughing, and I was terrified that my body wasn't covered up enough by the spandex or the romper. I basically felt naked, so it felt incredibly sexually violating. I was younger and my body was still developing and I was still becoming comfortable with myself, so for her to use my body as entertainment on stage really set my confidence back quite a lot.
So no, it wasn't just a fart joke. And unfortunately, Becky had so much backlash for coming forward with this TikTok that she had to delete all of her social media and was one of the 3 I referenced earlier. So no, there was no clout. There was nothing involved in that other than her sharing her story. And if anyone's thinking, well, she decided to go to the performance scantily clad in the hope she'd be called up on stage. Yes, she did. But firstly, Colleen is the one that by doing this skit is encouraging young people to turn up to her gig scantily clad. You know, kids make mistakes. And she is the adult. And she is perpetuating this skit, which is inadvertently encouraging kids to turn up to her gig in less clothes than they maybe would feel comfortable in the hope they get to come up on stage and meet their idol. Not only that, if Becky had been allowed to come up on stage when she wanted to, she would have just stood there, as you saw from the clip, while Colleen shouted the word porn at her. I'm sure if she'd known that she'd be doing a yoga skit instead, she would have dressed more appropriately for getting on the floor and being in all of these positions. But of course she's not going to turn down the opportunity just because she's in a short romper. She wants to go up and meet Colleen. Colleen is the adult in the situation. I don't have any negative feeling toward Becky. She was a child, and Colleen shouldn't have so many of her skits in the shows that she does. Becky has eloquently said that she felt violated by it. And Colleen is so concerned about it that she just minimalised it and called it a fart joke to millions of people.
So, even though I know this video won't change anyone's mind about me.
Oh, it has. It's made you come off even worse. I didn't actually think it was possible.
I still felt it was important to come on here and defend myself a little.
You didn't say anything. You said barely anything at all. You've been rude to Becky by minimising her trauma. You've been disgraceful to everybody else by not even acknowledging their trauma. You made a terrible joke about your cats, which has led me to feel absolutely disgusted with you because I ended up down a rabbit hole about poor cats and your fucking care. And you've also ruined the ukulele for millions of people. But no, you didn't defend yourself once. You've just come on and made an absolute tit of yourself.
And take accountability.
Bitch, where? Bitch, where?
And I also wanted to say that to anyone out there who has ever supported me in any capacity, I really, really appreciate you. Thank you. For what it's worth,
I never had any bad intentions.
Well, that's not true, is it?
But I do feel like shit.
Jolly good.
The toxic gossip train.
Oh, not again.
You're chugging down the tracks of misinformation. Toxic gossip train. You got a one-way ticket to manipulation station. Toxic gossip train. You tied me to the tracks and harassed me for my past. I won't survive in the crash, but hey, I hope you had some fun.
I don't know what you're not going to survive. You're a multi-millionaire. You could not work another day in your life and still live a comfortable situation with your husband and children. Maybe a bit more modest than you are now, but all the same. It actually, in a real world way, won't affect you. So, yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. True YouTuber apology outro. Drama video apology outro. Drama video outro full stop. I see you've been taking pointers from your oversharing co-host.
Actually,
Oh, not a bloody encore. For goodness sake, Colleen, this is supposed to be an apology video, not a gig. Save the encores for the stage. Oh, what now?
you know, I feel like maybe I should let you guys know something.
Yep, we're all ears.
It seems like maybe you're confused about something. I don't know. Let me try to help.
Don't patronise us. Oh, when I first saw this, I could feel it bubbling. As soon as she went, I don't know, maybe I can help. I thought, oh, you let the mask slip earlier. Do not sit there and patronise us and make a further mockery of your victims. Please, please.
Sometimes people make a mistake and it doesn't make them a horrible person. Whoa.
Are we calling years of unchecked bad behaviour a mistake? And all the things that have happened behind the scenes? I'm not particularly religious these days myself, but one thing I do remember from school is what one does in the dark will soon come to light. So which bit is technically a mistake? Because this seems like a pattern of behaviour that you're now cross has actually come to the surface and people are acknowledging.
Sometimes people can make a mistake and they're still a good person. Crazy, I know.
Yes, I agree. That's not a new concept. Myself and everybody watching this has made mistakes. Again, not necessarily a pattern behaviour of grooming children, though.
Sometimes people can make a mistake and you don't have to take that mistake, oh no. And twist it up and grind it and add some lies to it and pulverize it and stab it with knives and ruin a life and...
No, nothing's been altered. There's been no pulverisation, manipulation, or lies added to the source. Just basic, cold, hard facts with screenshots and videos and very eloquent testimonies from the victims that have come forward. They've very eloquently expressed themselves. The only person who seems to be providing very bad amateur dramatics, afraid to say, Colleen, but that's you.
Oh no, sometimes people can make a mistake. It doesn't mean you gotta send them hate. Oh no, sometimes people can make a mistake and you can kindly let them know and help them to grow.
You just contradicted yourself. It's very clear from this video that you consider any criticism hate. I mean, for goodness sake, your television programme was haters back off. One of your taglines in your videos were, if you don't like it, then back off because you're a hater. So you clearly think criticism is simply hate. But then you're asking for people to politely let you know. You have to be willing to hear it for someone to let you know. Otherwise, how are they supposed to tackle it? And I'd like to say there have been many videos made about this topic that have not been hateful. They haven't been mocking. They haven't done anything except ask you to speak on the matter, which you still haven't done.
Sometimes people make mistakes simply because they made a mistake.
That's a pretty way of saying nothing.
And that mistake doesn't make them a terrible human. It just makes them a human.
Okay.
So what do I know? Fuck me, right?
Way, we ended the video in agreement. Alright folks, so that's it. What do we think? I think it's abysmal. I really do. I don't even think it's worth her uploading an improved version. I think that told us everything we needed to know about her. I assume that you have some knowledge of it, A, otherwise you wouldn't be clicking on this video, and B, because the whole internet is absolutely saturated with what's going on at the moment, so I thought I'd throw my 2 cents in. Yeah, I'm unimpressed. I didn't do a full deep dive or as deep a dive as I could have done. That would have been a multi-parter, and there's already videos by victims. I mean, Adam McIntyre, I've used quite a few of his clips in this, as you can see, and it's well worth having a look at his channel. As a victim himself and the person who did the original expose video on her, he has a lot of detailed interactions. I mean, hours and hours and hours. So yeah, to try and give you the cliff notes of that would have been very difficult, but I wanted to give you an overview, and as I say, in my opinion, this all came about because of another creator called Cody, who I briefly mentioned earlier. Basically, they fell out with Colleen and uploaded their own video saying that they were a victim of Colleen. And what made it interesting was that they were someone who lashed out at Adam when Adam initially came out as a victim in 2020. So, as I said earlier, that overturned the soil and it brought everything forward, and more people actually came forward and admitted that this had been going on to them as well in her circle. So yes, have a look at those if you're interested. I do have the part 2 of the Trisha Paytas video coming soon. Sorry that's been a bit delayed. As I said earlier, I've been quite poorly. And I lost some clips that were very important for it, so I've had to try and find them again. So, yeah, that's been a bit of a pain. But no, that is coming soon. Please like and subscribe. I'd be incredibly grateful. I thought I'd have 2 subscribers and they would be my best friends. So to have any of you logging on and watching my videos is a real honour. It really is. I've been very touched. But yeah, please like and subscribe. Hang about. Have a look at other videos. I do videos on drama and drag queens, it seems. Yeah, stay well. Bye all.